Microphone racing towards her as we speak. Daniela Serrett.
So publicly, just about everyone with a platform is against the non-consensual sharing of intimate images. However, privately, it seems that so many people are still sharing and distributing these images anyway. So how do we go about changing that culture?
We'll keep the microphone with you, Daniela. I'll go to Lindy first on this.
I mean, I don't know. You know, people love to have sex and people love to flirt with each other, and you can't really change these sort of fundamental drives that people have, and when they combine with new technologies, this is what happens. And I think the most productive thing that we can do is keep hammering away at rape culture, at this sort of entitlement to women's bodies and women's privacy, at the demonization of female sexuality, and work on these sort of broader cultural changes, because I don't know how you can stop people from being horny. And maybe that's an oversimplification, but to me, you know, the idea, like, what needs to change is the idea that there's anything that I could do to to force someone to commit a crime against me. You know what I mean? It's actually very insulting to men, as though men are just walking around like on the verge of raping someone or violating someone's privacy at all times. They just need to be triggered by the right outfit or the right sext. And so it's just, I really think that culture change on a bigger scale is the only productive surefire way to fix this problem.
I'm just going to quickly go back to our question. We kept the microphone with you, Daniela, because I know you work for the new e-Safety Commissioner. It's an office tasked with investigating cases of revenge porn. Why do you think that young women in particular, but also young men, are sharing these intimate photos knowing the risks involved, or do they just simply not know the risks involved?
You know, I think with social media being as big and as part of an everyday life as it is now, that young people, they just don't know any better, because this is their way of living. You know, this is just instant gratification society. And so this is just a part of their everyday life. And I think that it's important to note that we shouldn't be putting the onus on, oh, you shouldn't have taken that photo, you shouldn't have worn those shorts, you shouldn't have done this. I think it's more of a discussion about the way of thinking that we have and how we pinpoint, why do I think that that's a bad thing? Why doesn't this woman be able to have empowerment over her body, or this man have empowerment over his body and not be judged for sending that? So I think part of what our office is doing is creating a tool where you can report these things online, but at the same time raising awareness that we don't really want to say that, you know, you are a victim and you are wrong for doing so. It's more like stepping into your power. If this is happening to you and this is something that you're not okay with, report it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to go to Faustina first, and then I'll come back to you, Lindy.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I like the headway that you're making with this, because I thought there were laws to kind of protect revenge porn. There aren't? Okay. Whoa. And this, you know, what really needs to change is a huge attitude shift towards how we treat our partners and people that we you know, adore sexually. And there is a serious issue with objectification of the people that I think that we date or spend time with and have sexual intimacy with.
Do you accept the idea that that young people today think differently about this kind of sharing of these intimate images?
I think it's just unevolved, and it's just not conscious, really, and kids are being really, really silly then, you know, and that's why there needs to be education. They need to know the greater consequences of that.
Lindy?
I just wanted to say, so I have teenage daughters, and it's pervasive at their school, this kind of, which is terrifying because they're children. But, you know, we also have to keep in mind the fact that girls especially are socialized to want to please boys and to want to make boys happy and to want boys to like them, and that's really, really toxic. And boys, meanwhile, are socialized to like try to, you know, get whatever they can out of girls, and they're often really manipulative. I hear these stories all the time from within my own family. It's really, I mean, luckily not within my own family, I hope, but, you know, about my daughter tells me about her friends and the trouble that they're getting into. And I also think to the previous question, a really, really powerful thing that we can do is implement laws and very strict penalties for people who engage in this kind of in revenge porn, so that there are consequences. Because right now there aren't consequences.
Let's go to Joseph.